Well, obviously, Houston was a disappointing game for us. I thought it was a great battle. I thought we competed all day long, and unfortunately, we didn't come out on top. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of positives that came out of the game. I thought the offensive line, for one, played great all day. They did great in protection. They gave us a lot of multiple fronts, bringing down different safeties, everything like that, and they handled it great all day. We ran the ball well. We were efficient in the passing game. But at the same time, we've got to help out the defense and get one more conversion there on the third down and go from there. So in terms of this week, we know we've got a physical football team coming in here. They're stout on defense. Their front seven's very physical. So we're preparing for a battle. So, but we are happy to be home, coming home to Arrowhead.
When the other team plays a game that goes the way Monday night did, does the coaching staff at all avoid that tape? Do you see tape of that game? Or, I mean, do they try to not show you bad stuff to the other team so you don't get confident?
I think as coaches, what normally happens in a game like that is you come in and you try to make the corrections, and then you try to move on as quickly as possible. And I don't know what the circumstances were down there, but that's normally what we've done in the past.
How about you viewing them? Do you see less of that and them playing well when you're viewing tape?
When we're watching tape right now on Jacksonville, I mean, obviously the game didn't go exactly how they wanted the other night, but I think that they're a good defense and they're a physical defense, and we're going to have to bring our A game here on Sunday.
Matt, you guys were pretty effective throwing the ball
Mm-hmm.
against Houston. I know the outcome wasn't what you wanted, but with the success that you had, at least statistically, is it important to you at all, like how you're viewed by the fan base, by the city here?
Well, I mean, of course, as a player, you want to do your best for the fans, and you want to be liked by the fans, of course. And I think that we have a passionate fan base here in Kansas City, and they want to win, and they're passionate about football, which is great. And I'll say one thing is that I'm always going to give them 110% effort, and I'm always going to go out there and try to execute my job to the best of my ability. And hopefully we win a lot of ball games, and then I think everybody's happy.
Are you happy that the league is making sure hard hits are monitored very carefully and penalized more strongly than before?
Well, I know it's an issue, and I think as players, I think we all realize that we play a violent game, and every time you go out on the field, that there's a chance of injury. But I also know that safety is very important, and that they're taking precautions and making sure that players are taken care of.
You think these heavy fines that were levied this week and the increased attention to that sort of thing will change the game, will change the way guys play?
I don't know that. I'm not on that side of the ball, and it would be hard for me as a player to change how I've been playing for a long period of time, or coaches to change how they've been coaching for a long period of time, I would guess. But at the same time, football's football, and I'm sure guys are going to continue to go out and give 100% effort, and things are going to happen regardless of whether or not the rule has changed.
Did you ever play defense?
I did in high school. I was a safety.
Yeah. Were you a headhunter?
I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a headhunter. I was hope to run behind the guy and grab his jersey and pull him down as quickly as possible.
So you were. Although, as you grew up playing football, one of the things that's sometimes hard to understand watching it is some of these hits are guys launching themselves and using their head, but I'm sure you were taught from the first go that you tackle with your face, right? You don't put your head down.
Right, and sometimes, I think it's just a reactive thing by the defensive back, where he's going up trying to make a play on the ball, or he sees impact, and then all of a sudden this guy makes a movement toward the ball that might be a little bit different, and unfortunately, the hit becomes a little bit more vicious than actually intended.
Without mentioning any names, Matt, have you ever had the feeling that somebody had tried to hurt you?
No. Not really. Well, I feel like they try to hurt me every time they tackle me. To be completely honest. Nothing cheap, no. Nothing like that, no.
As an offensive guy, you want to see that stuff, or do you turn away, or do you cringe when you see those types of hits? Do you make an effort to not see them if you know one's coming, basically on SportsCenter highlights?
Right. Well, I think that nobody wants to see somebody get hurt, and nobody wants to see anybody leave the field because of injury. And so I think there's times, like anybody else, that I'm sitting there and I'm watching and I go, and you cringe a little bit and you go, gosh, that was ugly. But at the same time, like I said, we all recognize that we play this sport and that there's going to be times where that happens.
Considering the success you guys had throwing the football, do you feel a little more relaxed, like, okay, there, we can do it, we showed the rest of the league and the fans and whoever else that we're capable of doing?
Well, I think that we had a great outing, and I think that we're making progress, but at the same time, I feel like we've, throughout the course of the year, have decided to play certain ways, and sometimes it was to take care of the ball, and other times the game plan dictated sometimes what we were trying to do in terms of how we went about our operation offensively. So we stuck to the game plan this week, and it worked out well, and we were effective.
Matt, I realize that a balanced attack, when you pass well, it opens up the running game, and when you're running well, you can pass better, but you're now the #1 rushing offense in the league. And do you feel the offensive rushing game has arrived? I mean, do you feel like as a running unit, rushing unit, you guys really are where you've been working to be?
Well, anytime you're the #1 team in the NFL, I think that you're where you want to be in terms of rushing the football, and I think it's a compliment to the guys up front. It starts with the offensive line and their mentality, and coming out week in and week out and being physical, and then starts with the tight ends and the receivers and everybody else doing their job, blocking, running backs running, me carrying out my fakes, probably the most important part. But no, we're doing a great job running the ball, and hopefully that continues.
How important was it to see Dwayne make a big play or two after that Indy game?
It was great, to see Dwayne come back. I know that, things didn't go exactly how he wanted in Indy, but I told him before, that's football, and we're going to be counting on him throughout the course of the year. And for him to come out and show that, he wasn't bugged by it or anything like that, I was happy to see it.
That hit that Deshaun Jackson took in the Philly game, how conscious are you of where you put the ball to not hang a guy out to dry?
Well, as a quarterback, you never want to hang any of these guys out to dry, and sometimes maybe you don't see that guy breaking on the ball as quickly as he did, or the safety coming over the top, and it just happens to be that you throw a ball in there and the guy gets hit, but you never want to do it. You're always apologizing after the fact.
Do you rely on those high school safety skills as far as scoring blocks when trying to free your running backs to get more yardage?
That was pretty vicious, wasn't it? No, I watched the film, and I think I just caught him at a bad angle. It just looked better on the way he fell. So I got lucky, I think. He didn't see me coming.
What's the hardest you've been hit, or when was, can you recall when you were hit the hardest, where you really felt it scared you maybe?
I think I've taken a few hits, but one that I remember was Hainsworth last year when he landed on me. And he's a big man and knocked the breath out of me, so that kind of scared me for a second.
Their pass defense statistically is not very good. Do you see an opportunity there in the passing game?
Well, as I said before, they're a big physical group, and we got to get ready for a battle. At the same time, there has been big plays made on them, but for us, we just have to go in there and stick to the game plan, and if those opportunities come up, hopefully take advantage of them.
Was practice easier today without, helmets and pads and stuff? I mean, you guys, did you have a lighter workout, a more mentally intense workout? Or?
No, physically you're just not doing all the banging, but the intensity picks up. I think they try to pick the tempo of practice up, and you try to get out there and really execute and be mentally sharp.
All right. Thanks.